Hello everybody, and thanks for joining us for episode 4 of the League on Wheels podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Yorkshire Podcast Studios. If you've got a podcast idea, get in touch with the guys here, and in true rugby league form, it's just off the M62 at junction 27, so it's very easy to get to. Back with me today, Tom?
Yeah, good to be back again. Unfortunately, I'm away for the next podcast because I'm away in sunny Portugal. Please like and subscribe and share the videos because at the end of the day, it helps us bring more videos out to yourselves.
You're here for next podcast.
Am I?
2 weeks?
Oh yeah, 2 weeks.
Quite
a weekly thing.
He don't know what he's doing, does he? Well guys, this week we're excited to bring you from Wakefield Trinity, Jimmy Gittins and Jim Dyson. How are we doing, chaps?
Good, thank you, yourself. How can we done?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for the invite.
You're very welcome.
It's good to have you on.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to have you both on. So we'll start off the podcast how we do every week or every fortnight, Tom. It's every 2 weeks, mate.
Yeah, I'll remember next time.
And we'll have a look at the results from this past weekend. Have you been keeping an eye on results more recently now you're back involved, Jim?
No, I'll be honest, I'm not. I'm just sort of focused on getting the team going, getting them started. So that's my main priority at the minute. Maybe further on when we start seeing the teams, I'll start looking at them.
Well, we'll give you a bit of insight what's been going on this weekend, then we'll get on to your match as well. So in the Super League, Edinburgh Giants versus Halifax Panthers. Halifax Panthers are still on form, beating Edinburgh Giants 79-4. I think Halifax are looking absolutely awesome this season, aren't they? You'll know a lot of people still from Halifax, and I think they are the form side.
They're very much looking like the strongest team, like in the Super League at the moment. You know, it's apart from obviously the draw that they had last time. You know,
a solid draw against a good London Roosters side, though.
Yeah,
I think they've been pretty solid apart from that. All FC 36, Sheffield Eagles 32. A very close game, a lot closer than I would expect. I think Tristan Norfolk moving on to Leeds Rhinos might have made a bit of a difference to them.
Yeah. I think obviously losing Tristan and obviously moving over to Leeds, it was a big impact on the game, and it really did show. Tristan played for the development game in Leeds Rhinos this week.
I think the reserves game.
The reserves game, yeah. Sorry, the reserves game, yeah. So.
That's over at Leeds Rhinos. I'm sure they're looking for a first team spot very, very soon. But is he going to get in there? Leeds Rhinos in action, and they beat Wigan Warriors 58-16. Rhinos at the minute are a point behind Halifax, but they have a game in hand. Yep. So I'm not saying nobody wrote Leeds off who we've been talking to, but everybody's been mentioning Halifax and London. But I think Leeds are showing that they're still there and thereabouts out there. I don't know if it's with Tom Halliwell missing that people are thinking, are they not going to be as effective? But obviously Ewan's been stepping in at pivot and he's obviously doing a good job there as well.
I suppose it's coming up to that clash between Halifax and Leeds, and we'll see what's what and who wants it more.
When that comes round, it's definitely going to be the game of the round. Definitely the game of the round. Into the Championship East, we'll talk about this one a little bit more later on, as it involved Wakefield Trinity's first game against Batley Bulldogs, and it was 126-0 win to the Bulldogs. Going on to Castleford Tigers. They hosted OKR, beating OKR 78-12. That's Cass unbeaten after 5 matches so far this season. They're looking the package, Tom.
Yeah, they are. They really are. Obviously, you've got some the main scope players, obviously like Louis. You know, and we've said this. I think we've said this after every single podcast. You know, he's absolutely amazing in his chair, and he's so hard to catch.
I think we talk about him every week, every fortnight. Don't we talk about him? But have you seen him yet play?
He won a grand final with me at Leeds.
You know him from his previous playing, yeah.
I know. I can tell you some stories about Lou, which I'm sure we'll get on to. Absolutely lad, but yeah, some cracking stories about him.
It sounds like we're talking about Louis again in this podcast today. York Knights 10, Bradford Bulls 62. Obviously, Bulls putting the pressure on Cass. They're 2 points behind, obviously. Cass have beat them. They've been putting a lot of scores on Bradford against everybody else. But
I think at half-time it was 36-0, I think, at that point at half-time. And obviously, I think Bradford Bulls have got a lot more to push. You know, I think this time around, though, they did put some development players in there to get some game time as well. So
Yeah, definitely. On to Championship West. Widnes Vikings 4, North Wales Crusaders 80. I think they are the complete package by looking at this season. The North Wales Crusaders. Who can you see beating them?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
No, they are looking
they're
pretty
a solid team, aren't they? So and they always have been a solid team.
Rochdale Hornets versus Hereford Harriers didn't go ahead. Hereford citing the temperature's too warm to play. I don't think we know what's happened there, whether the RFL are going to give Rochdale the game or whether they're going to have to reschedule. We'll have a look at that, but they cited the temperatures. On to Regional South, Woodlands Warriors had a big win against Bedford Tigers, 64-6. I think Woodlands are making some nice little progress now. They seem to be settled into their season.
Yeah. So I think the last time we saw them and we had a little bit of a game against them was at the Challenge Trophy.
Challenge Trophy, yeah.
And they seem to be hitting it off running from there, really.
Yeah, it seems a good little club.
Yeah.
It does seem a good little club. That's that for this weekend's fixtures, lads. Obviously, we'll get on to you. Will I?
Yep.
A little bit more. Obviously, the Batley Bulldogs were at Wakefield this weekend, and it were your first match of the season. You've done amazingly well in a matter of weeks to get this team back up and running. Not the result you would have wanted, but you must be so happy to get playing some rugby again.
I think it's taking the scoreboard. It was a result we wanted. We got a team out there. We played really well. I'll be honest with you, I didn't look at the scoreboard the entire game. I wasn't keeping score. For me, it was about how we played as a team. Our completion rate was about 50-60%, which is pretty good for a brand new team. As errors, made about 13 errors, which maybe we could do better. We only conceded one penalty. So, no, I think that was exactly what I expected and more. The players were great. First time for a lot of them playing together.
I think the most important thing is they didn't quit.
No,
they didn't stop at all. They kept on going. Despite the score running down, they didn't stop 1 minute.
Yeah.
I think everyone at Bulldog said that as well. It was non-stop. The legs didn't go down.
Yeah.
Everybody played. I think Lucy, who got your man at player of the match, she was just solid all the way through.
Yeah.
She was here, there and everywhere, all of that pitch, and she never gave in. Nobody gave in, did they?
No, not at all.
Heads didn't go down. And I think that's just a massive show on the group that you've got there at the minute.
And they still had a massive smile on their face whilst playing, and I think that's the main thing. Still playing with a smile on your face.
Yeah, well, that's what I said from the start. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to all to have fun and enjoy playing the game. And throughout, I was going to them saying, like, are you having fun? Are you enjoying yourself? No one's got any reason to get their head down. When we came to half time, first thing I said was like, everyone give me one positive thing you've done today. So it wasn't about that, just looking at the positives, looking at the focus. And I think there was a good time where we completed our sets, when we were pushing down the field, where we actually stopped you scoring for a bit.
Yeah.
We showed that we have got that potential. I think, look, it's a long journey. This is our first season, and this season we're just talking about building as a team, but we're definitely on the right path, and I think it showed on Saturday.
Absolutely, I'd agree with you. Jimmy, the first game you've seen live, what did you think?
Mate, it's the first game I've actually been involved in full stop.
Yeah.
So I'm probably as new to this as some of our players, if I'm honest. And I think about 6 weeks ago, I've watched the wheelchair game from afar for a number of years now. I got bust up 22 years ago. It's something I never really got involved in. Some of it my own reasons, some of it not so much. And when I got asked to get involved with this, our view was to, because it's that inclusion side of things, and getting people that wouldn't ordinarily maybe take part in some sort of sport for whatever level that is. When I met the guys at training a few weeks ago, it's only 6 weeks ago, we actually kind of said, right, let's put a team together. So to field the team on Saturday, Jim's done amazing the last few weeks with what the time that he's had with the guys. And we actually, when they put them shirts on, again, I'm going to go with Jim on this, the result was irrelevant. They looked like a team. They were outmatched, they were outclassed, they were out masculine. There were a lot of reasons why that game probably really wasn't a fair playing field. And I don't mean that as in somebody being unfair. I mean just how it was, how it is, the level that we were at to where we were playing against. But to watch them do what they did, and like Jim said, they came off with a smile on their face. You wouldn't have thought they'd lost by 126 points. That gives me real pride that they're there and they want to do something with themselves. They want to get involved. They want to play a sport that's growing, and I think that's really important. That the values of what we're trying to set, and what I believe that they put out on Saturday was something that can really grow going forward.
To me as well, it looks like the foundations are there for sure. Like when they're coming off, smiling still. Nobody had their heads down. I think you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that. It was something we were chatting about a little bit at half time as well, weren't we? He was saying the non-level playing field, really. You've got a young side. Batley Bulldogs have some big lads playing, shall we say. And do you just want to touch a little bit on that, and what your thoughts are about the non-level playing field?
We were discussing this before, me and Jim, and I'm pleased. I don't want to talk over Jim because he's the coach. I kind of sit and watch from an outside thing of it, and I suppose at the moment I'm untouched by the game. I'm quite neutral to it. I think looking at it from an outsider, it probably, when I say it was an unfair playing field, I mean by that we had a lot of young players. We had one or two players with lots of different ailments and different issues. You wouldn't ordinarily in more sport, I think in contact sport as well, have that difference in levels. And I personally, going forward, like to see that look a bit differently. I'll be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with how Batley played towards the back end. Fair play to them, they gave the respect to keep the full squad on. But like the young girl that came on with just 5 minutes to go, I think they could have just gone a little bit easy. Some of how I see the tackling being made, you know, when you're thrust into a tackle with a chair, well, you've got a big unit and then you've got a young kid with an adversity. You know, just physics tells you where that's going to end.
Yeah.
You know, it's a contact sport. You've got a steel frame around your four wheels, and you're moving forward at each other at pace. And there were areas of that, you know, with a young kid on the wing there who he got the ball, he was petrified.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like to see that. But I played professional for 10 years. I know that's the game. The game is competitive, and I don't think we should take that away. Could we put some sort of levelers in? Yeah, I think we could. I think it could look a lot better.
I know where you're going from, because I noticed your young lad, the full play to him, he got on pitch and had a go. You could see that they were a little bit timid of getting in after a little while, and probably because of the physicality of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you've got a big unit, you know, Batley are very physical.
Yeah.
You know, you can see that straight from the off. They've got a lot of experience with the ball. You can see how they move. You know, how they can spin the ball. Some of the dummies, you know, it was good to see. But the physicality side of it for me was just too much. I think just stopping some of the players. Look, I'm not trying to put cotton wool gloves on because I don't think that's how it should be. But I do think that it should maybe be a better leveler within the game, because otherwise, how are we going to really attract people with disabilities into the game? Because you can't put an able-bodied person in the same category as somebody with a disability. You just can't. I don't know the answers to that, by the way. Like I say, I'm as new to this.
No. In Championship, they don't have the able-bodied, disabled-body restrictions like they do in... Sorry, did I say so? In Championship, they don't have the same restrictions as they do in Super League, where you can have two able-bodies on the pitch at one time. I think there were talk about trying to go in that direction for it, but it's a lack of numbers. Yeah. And I think that, it's probably is disappointing for a lot of people, is that like if the sport grows, they probably will go down that route. So I think it's been thrown around as the idea already. And the other thing, you can play Championship level from 14 years old if your parents signed you on. Again, do you think it would probably be better with a junior, or having an age limit on the Championship and having a junior league maybe? What do you think on that, Jim?
I mean, for us, like you can say, like, oh, players, none of players. We had 7 players on Saturday. Only 2 were AB'd. You know what I mean? So, you know, we've got a real young squad. I mean, I totally agree with Jimmy, but at the same time, I had to pick a squad that was available. He put his hand up. And fair credit to you, man. It's just finding that balance really. But I think, like we've just started. We didn't have more than 2 ABs on the field at the same time. You know, it is, if I could have put an older team out, I would have done. But I was limited by what I was doing. And at the same time, we weren't going to turn away from a game saying, because one of us is too young. It's not fair.
No, I get that. Yeah. How many players have you got signed on at the minute?
Currently we have, technically I'm signed on, and technically Jack Hamilton's signed on. So technically that's 9. Are you signed on?
Yeah.
So what's that?
It's a similar scenario when we started Bulldogs. I signed on as well. We didn't know what we were going to get numbers wise when we first started on.
Did you have a couple that wasn't signed in on time as well?
No, everyone was signed on, but there was a couple that like close calls. Like Amy coming back from York was only confirmed. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday during the week, so it was like tight deadline. So she wouldn't have been available for Hull, but she was able for you. But again, like we've still got a vast majority of our squad is disabled. You know what I mean? Which like we said that's what we want to push. We want to do two things: participation and performance. So give disabled athlete rugby league fans an opportunity to participate in the sport and give them a chance to perform at a high level. And that's the sort of direction we're going. I mean, me, Jack and Jimmy were all on board, and talking to Ben, he's on board as well. Might have to change Ben's name because otherwise it's 3 J's and a B instead of 4 J's and it was things. But yeah, we're all. That's what attracted me to Wakefield coming back was the fact that that's the direction we want to go in, and everyone's on board with it in the club as well.
How did you get back on board with Wakefield? Was it a phone call or?
It was a LinkedIn post.
A LinkedIn post.
I was just on LinkedIn one night, and I just saw it, and I thought, like my Tuesdays are free now. Maybe it's time to get back in. And I think I've been a bit of an armchair critic for the last 6 years. That's how complaining. And part of me thinks like, well, you're either going to sit at home and complain, or you can go back in and try and have a positive impact, and that's what I've tried to do.
Is that how long it's been? 6 years since you've been involved then?
So it's actually been 7 years since my last wheelchair domestic game.
Right.
6 years since my last game because I had an international game with Scotland.
Right.
Do you see yourself in a chair with them this coming?
No, I'm not. I don't. I prefer to coach from outside the chair. You know what I mean? I differentiate coach from being a player. I played it. I've enjoyed it, but for me, I wouldn't be happy playing for me because I'd be taking. Not saying I'm good. Not saying I'm good enough. All my players.
You take more from it seeing other people.
And
progress.
Yeah, and also for me, it's also you sort of deny another person opportunity to play as well.
Yeah, that's exactly why I've been looking at that. I thought I'd end up playing. I have played one in a friendly charity game, and
to be honest, you had the time of your life, didn't you?
I do want to do it again. I don't want to do it again, but I'm just if whoever can get in a chair can get in a chair well before me. Do you see any difference now at the minute then, as you're having a little more of a look between when you were last involved 6 years ago and how it's progressed now?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a lot bigger. I was part of the old guard where we were fighting for everything, you know what I mean, fighting for attention, fighting for resources, turning up to games and teams weren't there. So it's definitely bigger, and then what more, it seems to be a lot more organised as well. And it seems to have the backing of the sport behind it as well, which I suppose is a good thing. Whereas before, like, last time when I went to Leeds, it was still the Premier League because we couldn't be called it could be called Super League. Right, so like it was the last time. So technically, I'm the reigning Premier League winning coach, but then it became Super League the year afterwards.
Yeah, I think we talk about this every podcast as well, don't we? World Cup and what left over after World Cup. World Cup were massive for the sport. So in the last few years, the growth from then has been absolutely immense. Yeah,
definitely. I think the World Cup's given it the attention it probably had before, and I think certainly knows like the stuff I've seen. Like people seem to sort of forget it was there before the World Cup as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us out there that have been working. So like I've been involved in the sport for over 10 years now. You know what I mean? And with that little bit of a gap, 6 year gap, but like it's just the foundations that were there and like the people that were there at the time. They really were working hard just because they believed in the sport. Yeah, and so there was a lot of work before that World Cup as well. I think it needs to be remembered as well. A lot of people put a lot of work in to get to that stage.
Yeah, to get to that point.
And it seems to be this past year, it's really hit off massively. It's just there seems to be teams, forming from everywhere at the moment.
Castleford a new side. You've got Lee that's floating around over at West Side at the minute. I'm sure they'll be entering a ladder somewhere soon.
Yeah.
Swinton have just started.
Yes.
I think they're doing some trial tasters like you have. And I'm guessing they're going to have a year then look at for next season. But clubs coming up everywhere, and I think that's just it just shows how much people are enjoying this sport.
Yeah, definitely, and it's giving people opportunities, and I think as well, probably a bit of saving grace for the AFL that was the only World Cup they wanted to the World Cup and wanted 3 World Cups and only got 1. So I think that's probably helped it as well, being the only one that won the World Cup.
They'll hang on that one, won't they? I think they're hoping. We'll see. I think France will have something to say about it. With the next World Cup as well. See how we're doing Ashes this autumn. See off the back of that. Jimmy, you're at Wakefield Trinity now, the Wheelchair Rugby League, Director of Wheelchair Rugby League.
Yeah.
How did that come about? That's a great title, by the way.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think it was a planned title, if that makes sense. It was a title that when Jack asked me to come and get involved, and he said, what position do you want to get involved in? I said, mate, I really don't know, because I don't know anything about the game really, other than watching it from afar sort of thing. And his view was that he wanted me to come in and try and bring different dimensions in, different people, get people involved in different things through other things that I'm involved in, through the charities that I've worked with. And that's probably the angle that we'll go down. We've got some really good relationships forming at the moment with Wakefield, so we've got a lot of different things within the fire sort of thing that we're going to bring into play over the next few weeks. Some of that, again, is on the inclusion side of things. So it wasn't really a title that I'm, if that's my title, that's my title, and I'll do all I can that I possibly can. My restrictions is just time because of what I do on a day-to-day basis. But I would like to think that, I think, like I say, I keep bringing Jim in, but, when Jim came in and because of his experience, wealth of experience he's had over the years, that's took a lot of pressure off, or certainly off me and Jack. Jack's there on a full-time basis. I'm purely just there to help where I can. And whatever that might be, whatever I can do, I'm more than happy to.
We could have had Jack in the podcast as well, really, because obviously he's been a massive part. He's only just recently become the inclusion manager at Wakefield as well, and it looks like he's making some massive progress already.
Yeah, literally, Jack's the driving force behind this. I mean, I've been quite vocal about how much I appreciate what he's done, but I cannot fault the lad. He's everything I've asked for, he's given, and he's given it straight away. It's not like maybe I will see. It's like, no, what do you want, sort of thing. He's been great. His enthusiasm for the sport, his relationship with everybody, and his knowledge to reach out to people. Honestly, you couldn't want more from a development officer, really. He's someone who's definitely going to find the game.
Yeah. Well, he's not brand new to it neither himself, though. He's coming from Sheffield Eagles, and the setup that they've got down there is second to none, and I'm sure he was a massive driving force behind that as well there. Do you see a lot of backing from the club, from the actual club itself?
I'll be honest, I think the club, I think it's given everything that we need at the moment. I think we've got to keep reminding ourselves, the bit of time that we've had, 6 weeks? Yeah. We've found a team, we've fielded a team, and we'll play again tomorrow night. That'll be a second game within the 6 weeks. So I don't think the club can do any more, really. I think for us as a foundation, the club will play its part as we move forward. I think we'll look very different for next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and that's the long-term plan. It certainly wasn't. Can we look to establish a team within 12, 18 months? Realistically, probably not. Things take time, and we're not scared of that. We're not scared of doing it differently. We're not scared of having those values and those beliefs, because I think when it comes to it, we had a club. I played for Wakefield Trinity in 1999, and I came on loan there from Dewsbury, and the club was a very, very different club to what it is now. What the club's done. With the off-field kind of side of things, the club's in a really, really good position. So, and I think anybody that's involved under that banner are part of that club and that team ethic. So, yeah, I think we've got a. It's good. It's a good time to be involved. There's a bright future there.
Yeah.
Where would you like to see the club in like a year's time?
The club in general, or the
wheelchair side of things?
I think it would be lovely to have time with a group of people that Jim's probably forged, if you like, and to watch the development. For me personally, it's always been about development. Anything I've ever done, I like to see things grow. I like to see things become better, and there's no reason why we can't do that. But unfortunately, time is something that we can't make that go quicker. We just have to do it the right way.
It's similar to obviously the Batley Bulldogs as well. It's like we started about 8-9 months ago, a bit longer maybe.
We had a couple of taster sessions, didn't we, in end of July, and then we started proper training sessions in August.
And this was starting with players that had absolutely no idea how to control a wheelchair at all. We were flying around hall, smashing into walls, smashing into each other. But I think what's done us so well so far is that a lot of our players, we used to actually play the field game together.
Yeah.
So we've already bonded together on the field. We've passed the ball around for so many years, and I think that's where most of the skill comes from our side. But even then, it showed how much we've progressed in the chairs, because that's a whole different skill itself, some of our players are really good in their chairs now, aren't they?
It comes on, doesn't it? That's something that I think a chair skill was something that our team needed to work on, really, as a whole, rather than the rugby side of it. So you've signed a few. Have you got some? I think one of our coaches at Batley Bulldogs does your LDRL. Yeah, coaches. Have you got some LDRL players signed on?
Yeah, we have. Mike's an LDRL player. I think Tyler plays LDRL, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a few, and there's probably some more that I don't remember. So apologies to anyone that I've forgotten. So we use that as well to get the team in and players and stuff like that.
Yes.
Linking with the club. Yeah, and just I know we shall go back a little point, but just for Jim, the club's been absolutely amazing. I'm a die-hard Wakefield fan. I wasn't. If you asked me this time last year, I've sort of fell out of them.
Right.
But that's because I was not last year, sorry, a couple of years ago, because I just got sick of sitting at the bottom of the Super League and not making out an ambition. Like, you want your team to do well, you get the loss and stuff. But when they just know you're going nowhere, you kind of sort of think, well, why am I bothering? But like, my granddad played for the club and coached for them, you know what I mean? So it's good to see the club going in a good direction with people that actually want the club to succeed from a holistic approach as well. So like off the field, on the field, community. I mean, like, been here not even 2 months yet, and I've already, got more than I've ever experienced in working in rugby league.
Right. I think a massive driving force behind that is Matt Ellis.
Yeah, definitely.
He's come in, and I think it's great to have a guy with so much knowledge and be a fan of the club as well. And you can see that growth has gone. Yeah, he's boomed on it the last couple of years. Probably dropped out of the Championship. Was probably one of the best things that happened for the club for a long time.
It does. I mean, look at Huddersfield, look at Hull KR, look at Lee, look at Castleford, look at Salford. I kind of think that was the kind of thing doing Wakefield. The fact that Wakefield just sort of surviving probably was actually probably one of the worst things when you think about it. Because sometimes you do have to you have to die and be reborn, don't you? Like the Phoenix. It does have to happen sometimes. I think it's finally happened. I think it's made the club wake up a bit.
I don't think they really died though, did they? They came down, absolutely bossed it in. I know it's a different level, but they came down absolutely. The squad that they had in the Championship, the running game, was better than the squad they had previous year in Super League, to be fair. So I think straight away, as soon as that involvement come on board with Matt Ellis and they started making some progress with Darryl Powell and everything, it were immense to watch. Really good to watch.
Hello, I'm Tom Oates.
And I'm Andy Walker. With the help of Yorkshire Podcast Studios, we'll be presenting a fortnightly video podcast based on Wheelchair Rugby League. It'll feature news, reviews and interviews from this wonderful sport, but we've got some exciting news about how you can get involved too.
We're looking for sponsorship partners to give Wheelchair Rugby League the awareness it deserves. In return, we can offer brand awareness to both our and your target audience through the podcast and our social media feeds.
Get in touch now to pledge your support. We look forward to hearing back from you. So let's go back to Wheelchair Rugby League though.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, we've got to talk
No, it was interesting. It was interesting
Just
as well.
something you said then there, Tom, about like some of your players have been former players. It was very noticeable watching from the side on Saturday how they sat in the chair, how they moved in the chair, how they could put a ball out, even like from kickoffs, how they'd turn and you're looking for one another. Dummies are not easy to do in a wheelchair because of the nature of you've got to push at the same time as holding your ball. So that skill element, I think, plays a massive role. Wheelchair skills and development, when I got injured 22 years ago, there wasn't a lot of them. In fact, the chairs didn't look like they did, to be honest. The chair I got to come home from hospital in was, all I can describe it as like a bit like a tank with wheels. It had very little turning kind of capabilities on it. Obviously now your sports chairs now are very, very different to what they were. I'd love to be able to play the game. When I was sat on Saturday, I wanted to be on that court, I'll be honest. But being quadriplegic, I've got no triceps, I've got no trunk, so if I come forward, I can't come back up, and there's all the elements where, and this is part of my thing with the game, is that it's almost non-inclusive for me, even though I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah. And that's the bit I don't get and that might be naivety, that might be not quite understanding the actual nature of the game, but it's something that I want to explore, because I think there's as many people in the same mindset as me, but unfortunately we're not able to do it. Now that kind of as a secondary thing for me, and thinking, well, you know, I think my question to you was, why would somebody who's not in a wheelchair want to play Wheelchair Rugby League? I understand it, because it's an exciting game to play. You know, they're not getting away from you, and it's exciting to watch. I watch it, and I think the skill sets to it. But I think we've got to somehow fix something in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. You know, it's not a negative. I think done right. That's how you get the growth. Because for me, there isn't enough disability actually involved in the game. It almost should be people that want to play rugby league in wheelchairs rather than Wheelchair Rugby League.
Yeah.
You know, because there is an element to that. You know, I watched all the boys on Saturday. The game finished and they all step out of the chairs and off they go.
Yeah.
I think they're only Tommy with a stick and the big kid with a beard. And I'm kind of thinking, you know, but that's, again, and I know I'm open to this, maybe it's a conversation to be had, you know, about the game. How do we develop that? How do we make that so that it is more inclusive? Because that's the ironic thing, isn't it? We call it inclusive sport.
Yeah.
But is it as inclusive as we think it is? Is the take up on the game more participants non-disabled than disabled? I'd be interested to see that number, to see what it looks like, because I wouldn't want somebody to think, I can't really play that sport, even though I'm in a wheelchair, I can't, because it's not really for me. That doesn't sit right with me, and I think we can do better.
I think you are right, Jimmy, that there'll be more able-bodied people playing it, and that's, like we said earlier, I think that's how they've gone down the route of only having Super League with the restrictions and elite at national level rather than the Championship as a development league.
It'd be interesting to see numbers in the Championship of able-bodied. It really would, you know, because if you do look at it, there is a lot more able-bodies in the Championship, without a doubt, because there's not that limitation that they've got in the Super League with obviously able-bodies.
Like my naive, you see, I keep saying naivety to it, but like I don't want to get on the heel of the able-bodied bit against the disability bit, because we all have different ailments. Unfortunately, life gives us things to deal with. But even somebody that perhaps is an amputee in a chair, for me, are still classed as able-bodied because of what they've got in torso, in trunk, in obliques. You know, everything that you need in a chair. When you put your bum on a cushion, lots of people have said to me, well, if we all play rugby league in wheelchairs, we'll all be the same as you. And I can't explain to them that just because you get put in that wheelchair does not put you in the same bracket, because your body function is still strong. You know, when you push in a wheelchair and you put your feet into your stocks, you're pushing right through your body. Whereas paraplegic, quadriplegic can't do that. Even certain different adversities can't allow us to do it. Different disabilities can't do that. So again, I think I keep saying that thing. We've got to do better. That's how I see it. You know, when I got asked why did I get involved with this, it wasn't to try and put a dampener into the game. It was to try and make the game be what it's advertised as. And that's why I, like Jim, you know, on Saturday, you know, when we saw our lot come off, they were smiling. You know, you put 126 points past us. Most people, you would think, God, I bet they're really going to be glum and down. You're joking. The WhatsApp group afterwards, they were complimenting each other. They were praising each other, and I think that is what it's about. Oh,
they deserve to compliment each other after it as well. I think they did really well, and again, we go back to enjoying it, don't we? They enjoyed it, and they went hell for leather all the way through for all 80 minutes, and they absolutely did. And
the thing I just want to make this quite point. So we talk about this, but we've got someone here who's like quadriplegic, who feels he can't play the sport. I think that's sorry. Going back a little bit. I think that's a very important point. I think it's not been said that we have someone. Sorry, Jim, we talk about someone who's quadriplegic who feels he cannot play a wheelchair sport because he's not able enough.
I could.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy. We'll play when I play in 2 weeks' time. But go easy on me, because you know I'll be one that's like, you know, because he's so slow, no triceps, so I've got a bit of a little push. So
apologies,
no. You're right. It's a good subject. It's a good subject because it is marketed at the minute as the most inclusive sport, isn't it? And you've just excluded yourself from it because of that. You know, I don't know enough about murder ball but they have a grading system, don't they? That's how it's a Paralympic sport. Should we be looking at a grading system?
So to grade,
to grade a disability. That's how.
I'd love to see what an able-bodied game would look like with all able-bodied.
All abled, yeah.
Yeah, because I think you'd be amazed how quick and fast, and probably exciting to watch too. Whether people look at that and think, yeah, but that's not how it should be played, that's irrelevant. If it's something that people want to see, but then equally, let's look at it and think, well, how do we do it so that the guys can be on the court to get on the pitch together, but we can almost aid each other. So it might be that, I think it was basketball that did the point system, I believe.
Have we got to like tally up to a certain amount of points? I think it's similar with murder ball as well.
Yeah, so they've
got to add up to like maybe 10.
Or no more than that.
Yeah, because they'd love to have me on there, because they could have 4 of me on there for one.
Right,
because the point, I'd be like an half pointer.
Right.
So, and I'm not saying that's the way forward. I don't know. We keep discussing this all the time, and I think our value is to create that team down at Wakefield that is inclusive in that manner. And I think most clubs, if I'm honest, would want to do that. But sometimes it's numbers. And I can see that just from afar that we need. You still put bodies in them chairs, haven't you?
Yeah, it is numbers. Always class. There's yourself, Tom.
Yeah.
Paul Orobin. Is he full disabled player classed?
I think he's classed as full disabled.
Yeah, because of his.
There's myself and
Mark Wilbert, chap with beard.
Mark. Jamie.
I'm not sure. I think Jamie might be, and Siobhan.
Or is he like partially?
Maybe. Like you say, it might. Maybe the RFL have looked at a grading system. I know it's something that. Well, not the grading system weren't mentioned, but definitely the 2 able-bodied limit has been mentioned in Championship. Now, where they are
and I suppose I go back to that thing of how you qualify as that.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, with a wheelchair, if you've got a good trunk and you've got good back and glutes and you can you can move around. I've seen. I did a bit with the army a lot, and there's a lot of amputees. Mate, they're unbelievable in chairs because they're not disabled in a chair. They are as able-bodied as you get. The way they fly around and they've got that ability and they've got that awareness sort of thing. So I think it's difficult that we don't try and grade it through what we see as the visual. It's more as to the performance for the way I would look at that.
So we had a chap training with us for a while. He's a former Paralympian himself, double amputee. He used to be the fastest man in the world in a wheelchair. Paul Cartwright. He wasn't mentioning his name. He wasn't like a founder of Paralympics, was he? But he was there in early days when it were all going. I think it was 1984. He was the fastest man in a wheelchair, sprinting and marathon. He was just an all-rounder. And he came training with us as well, did a double amputee. And he said something very similar to what you said about the force in the chair, having your feet on the plates, not chairing the chair. He was great in a straight line. Very good, very fast. He was a big, wide guy as well. He was in Paralympic powerlifting as he got older. So big shoulders, wasn't he? Yeah. And I think a lot of the movement there by not having the legs strapped into the bottom, into the foot plates. That's
good. Yeah, I mean, really, if you look at the wheelchair game, it's nearly all from your torso.
Yeah.
I watching some of you boys how you moved in the chairs, even the big.
Paul. He's played a long time as Paul.
Yeah. So it's transferring that energy through the chair through your torso.
Of course, you look how he manoeuvres in the chair. It's almost like a basketball chair. It's so high.
I think his is a basketball chair, but he's like 6'5" or something.
Yeah.
You know Paul yourself.
Yeah,
he played with you at Leeds, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he did play basketball, didn't he, before Leeds started up, and he was playing Spider Y and all that.
Yeah.
So he probably set up as a basketball chair.
It's huge advantage. Look, you play to your advantages, don't you? His advantage is because he's so tall.
Yeah, he's tall.
When he comes in and he turns, very difficult.
It can be hard to grab hold of as well with the tags. You try and tag him sometimes, and it's small.
I say his wide shoulders, his eye. He's deceivingly fast in his chair for a big unit as well.
Yeah.
But no, he can shift in chair. Yeah. See, your style is a bit wiggly and fast.
Mine's a bit wiggly, yeah. It's all over the place.
Having the chair fitted as well makes a massive difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, if you're playing in club chairs, is different again. Obviously, Ben done well. He signed from us to you recently. When he were at Batley, it weren't a chair fitted to him, but we managed to find a chair which were about right for him.
Yeah.
So going into a bigger chair, then
Very slender chair, wasn't it?
It was a very slender chair. But he's felt the difference as well. Talking to him, he's felt the difference going into a bigger chair, less manoeuvrable than what it were to. So the chair makes a massive difference.
I think he's actually going through the process though of getting one funded for himself. So obviously through similar,
he's looking at some
means than how I did as well.
charities, isn't he?
Because most military charities helped me get my chair. So and it's and a quick turnaround. And I'm pretty sure that Ben will get his as well.
They're not cheap, other than.
Well, that's the other side of sport. It's a really expensive sport.
Yeah.
The club chairs that we were buying for everybody to sit in, we're looking at around £2,500 a chair when we bought the original sets. So yours is a specified chair to you, and it's about £7,000 worth, is it?
Yeah. Well, I think it was a little over 8.
A little over 8.
Obviously, they discounted it from. They were nice enough
so
to do that.
cheaper because
What sort of time would you get out of that chair? What sort of time would it last for like that?
I don't know because I'm not sure actually because obviously it's my first chair that I've had made to measure, and obviously it's my first year that I've actually really been playing wheelchair rugby, so I'm not entirely sure. But I suppose it's all about keep it maintained and stuff like that. So and I if it as far as I go, I'm flying out of my chair left, right, and centre. So it probably won't last that long with me. So
yeah. I mean, even the best chairs. Like I remember Leeds. Sure, Tom might say his chair went, and it was only about 6 months old. His chair went in the grand final.
Oh dear!
Like brand new chair. I won't name the manufacturer, but
unfair to them.
Yeah, but it went and we had to take him out of his custom made fitted chair
and put him in the
into another chair. You know what I mean? So again, it could. You never know. They can just break on you like nothing.
Yeah, it's normally the weld points. I think normally where that weakest. It's like we've just had them club sports come through to club, and Cluffy got one of them, and he's like a different person, isn't it?
Yeah, it weren't meant to specifically to fit him, but we had to get a bigger spec for some of us bigger lads.
Yeah,
and it does make a massive difference having the right heights, the right widths, the right size wheels. It does make a massive. I mean, like I say, we didn't go down a bespoke route. We're not that kind of money. But just little tweaks on top of the chairs that we had on.
But it's the chairs help massively. Don't get me wrong, but one thing that benefited us at the weekend as well was your floor. We train on quite a tough floor. It's not as.
It's like a bit more rubbery, like they have at York.
You've got to push harder. Yeah. Like on your floor, it was like an ice rink for us.
Oh no! I've been joking. Like we're going to go around with all that talc they do at dances.
Yeah,
not dances.
No, it's all dances.
Yeah, we're going to do that next week.
How have you found it? How have you found it? You train there as well?
Yeah, we train there. We've only had one training session there, to be fair. We've had two. Unfortunately, I had a work commitment, so I couldn't make the first one. But again, that's all. Which we've all been doing in training is just playing games, just getting them used to the feel of a match. Just slowly. Like for example, last week we just started by playing a bit of offside touch. Yeah. And then we said, right, okay, you've got unlimited sets now. So again, trying to get that completion rate. Because wheelchair rugby players have a tendency to throw the ball out every chance they get.
Yeah.
And it's number one pet peeve.
Right.
So I'm massive in like the guys saying, complete your sets, getting that arm wrestle. So we said, right, you can have unlimited sets now, so you don't have to throw it about. And then once I got used to going down the field and making this yard, they found out, we're at the try line by about 7 or 8 tackles, so you don't actually need to be throwing it around on that 3rd or 4th tackle. And then like I said, right now we're going into the game situation where you've got 6 tackles. So yeah, that's the other time we've been in the sports hall, which has been honestly the size of a basketball, not a basketball court, like a proper small basketball court.
Yeah, I think the first 3-4 sessions, the facility that we used for training was only half size of the court on pitch on Saturday.
Right, yeah.
So, like Jim says, speed-wise and that sort of thing, that they didn't really get the opportunity to be able to open. And like you said, the younger players have got a good pace. Yeah. If only you could get them to understand that to use that bit of space and not get drawn in, sort of thing. I know when we were at training, I was on the touchline and I was getting a bit frustrated, because in my head I'm still kind of still there. And so I got involved in the training session, and it was funny because some of the kids didn't understand the difference between this day chair and what they use for the game chair.
All right.
And so I got a lot of comments of, why are you so slow in your chair when you spend so much time in your chair? And I tried to explain to them what the difference is in the chairs, which is funny because they didn't even know the difference in that sort of thing. Yeah. Likewise, they didn't understand the difference when I got the ball. they took great glee in trying to smash the shit out of me, and they didn't realise that my toes stick out the end of my chair. So when they were coming to me in a framed chair, I had to pick my toes out of my sock when I got home. To be honest, you know, and they're all laughing about it. And again, it's that sort of thing that it's knowledge sometimes, isn't it? And even though you think you're in something that you automatically think people would understand, they don't. And that's the other side of it for me that I think is an interesting one. Because I love listening to people's backstories, knowing where they've been, what they've done, what's brought them to here today. Because I think that's the wheelchair game is more about that, I think. You know, there's some real characters involved in the game. Let's get to know them. Let's understand what the backstory is, what's brought them to this point. For me, that's the fascination.
Yeah, it is really, like you say, everybody's from such different backgrounds, and they're not all come from same.
There's a reason that's put you to play wheelchair rugby. In some
why
respects.
you wanted to do. Yeah. How far does your furthest player come? Are they all in Wakefield? Are they all pretty local? Or?
Have we got a couple of Sheffield?
Sheffield and Huddersfield's one of the furthest, so they're all like Yorkshire based, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're quite happy to and I've noticed that they travel. A lot of players travel around, don't they?
They do travel. I mean, I think you know where Amanda Nixon, she's come and done some training sessions with Andy. She's from Huddersfield herself. And she's been to Wakefield, she's been to Batley, so that's travelling. She comes on a bus to training.
She gets new
buses. I think it's like 3 buses to train.
I think it's a taxi first, and then about 2 or 3 buses.
Really?
But she'll make the effort
That's
to get
great
there.
commitment, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely great commitment, and she's a lovely lady as well. We just need to get her playing now, just get her on board, because she's enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's just a little bit timid about getting her name down on team sheet. But she's not. She's thereabouts now, isn't she? With everything that's coming on.
I know when we first got started, I knock about with Stuart Walker from York quite a lot through the Benevolent Fund. We become good friends, and again, my naivety was, I'll tap him up, see if he wants to come and play at Wakefield. Why would you want to travel to York? Every twice a week, whatever it is. But fair play to him. He said, no, I'm committed at York, and I thought, fair play. That's because sometimes that I live in Wakefield, I could play for Wakefield. Yeah. Or I can drive to York, and I think that's testament to some players.
People just settle into certain places. Yeah. He's going to get a mention again, and I think he enjoyed getting a mention last week. That York have a player, Tom Blenkinsop, and he comes from Middlesbrough to York. There's nothing around his neck of woods around there, so he trains, obviously goes down and plays all the way from Middlesbrough. I
think he just wants to get out of Middlesbrough, to be honest with you.
He's just trying to get away. Yeah.
I lived there for 2 years, so...
so you would as well?
Yeah.
Right, lads, we could sit and talk all day long because there's loads of subjects really we could go on, and you've picked some subjects up yourselves as well, which we could have really gone down route. I mean, it's been a lot of fun having you and talking about. We'll have to get you in again at some point. Yeah. Well, we see you again in only another couple of weeks, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a quick turnaround for you this week, and then back against us at Batley in a fortnight's time. I'll go.
Yeah.
Right, before we leave then, we'll have a quick look at the fixtures. I know you said both of you haven't been really looking at how teams are going on, so I'm going to shout these fixtures out, and I'm going to ask Tom to give me his predictions on them. So that's how we do it. I'll say a fixture, and we'll give you a prediction. So, on Saturday, this Saturday coming up, 19th of July, in the Super League, London Roosters versus Edinburgh Giants.
Say
Roosters. I think Edinburgh's still a bit too green at the minute.
I think so, yeah. I think after the last couple of games that they've played, just looking at them at the moment, I think they just need to get their, just their chairs in there a bit more. I think so. And just
get the mojo.
Got the mojo, yeah.
And Edinburgh travelling down to London as
exactly.
well.
So it's a long way for them.
They're under cosh out for this one. Wigan Warriors versus Hull FC.
I think Wigan. Yeah. I think it's. We mentioned this earlier. With Hull FC, losing Tristan, is a big, one of their main players. But that doesn't mean anyone can step up for Hull FC now, and I think that's what's needing to happen. There's a few key players there that are going to step up now, and then it could just totally change. So, but I think I'd go Wigan. I think.
Well, we're on to Championship East. I won't ask you a winner on this one. It's Wakefield versus Castleford Tigers. Now, you will have, when this podcast comes out on the Friday, you'll have played them. You're playing them on Tuesday evening. Yeah. What's the plan? I won't ask you for what you're going to expect the game to end, but what's the plan? What's the idea?
I mean, to be fair, if you do tell me, I said we were going to win because I'm a massive believer in even we could be playing Leeds Rhinos next week, I was saying we're going to win because I think that's the attitude and belief in the players. The plan is just to carry on what we did on Saturday. We've not had a training session, we've not really had anything, just to carry on the games we've made on Saturday, look to improve it, you know. I think it will be a very different team from yourselves. I think it's going to be a very, very different game. But again, that's how we learn. Just want to see how the players react. I mean, one thing we're not mentioning is Amy on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention this because it was absolutely amazing. Paul basically got past her and scored a try. I went up to her and said, next time, just get what you do, get in front of him. And she did. Well,
she's not afraid.
We was on about this the other day about Amy. You know, the amount of times that she caught up with me.
Yeah,
pretty much every single time, and then I don't know. I would have shot because she's so rapid in that chair. You know,
a big part of your game is your speed, isn't it? Your speed in your chair, and she had you in her pocket.
Oh, 100%.
There was nobody catching. There was nobody catching you. She was from opposite side of the pitch as well. A lot of times, she came across from opposite side and had him.
Dan would have just about to put ball down on line and she got him
she had him on line as well, didn't she?
It was Paul.
She comes out of nowhere.
He made her angry. He made her angry, and that's all it was.
And he's a big lad to get in front of, isn't he, when he's going, and he can go at some pace as well, but there were no fear there. She's an absolute gem.
You know, even the sideline were going on, you know, she had that game face on every time she were pushing.
Oh, you could see it in her face. Yeah, you do actually see the face. It was mentioned on our sideline there when we were watching, but definitely one for the future. How old is she? She's only young, isn't she? She's 15. Really, honestly, the one for the future there. I mean, she played for York against us as well. She caused problems against York, didn't she? She was outstanding there. And then for you this weekend, I thought she were... You could say she was probably the best player on the pitch, all in all. To be fair, just single her out, she were brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I know we're going down up to a rabbit hole, but you know, I'm very happy with the players I've got. I think I've got a 6-year plan. If I'm being honest, that's how far ahead I'm thinking, and all the players I've got figuring that 6-year plan. So there's a lot of promise in the squad. I don't think there's anyone in the squad who I think like I wouldn't want. You know what I mean? I want those are the players I want. They've come, and we're going to find, like I said, when we play Cass, you know, we're looking for, you know, a bit of oomph and stuff like that. We're going to be the rivalry. Got a few Fev fans as well, so they'll want to beat them even more than the Wakey fans.
Yeah, well, you'll have to get that Wakefield Cass rivalry going, won't you? Whatever happens, for sure. Elsewhere in the Championship East, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, actually, just to highlight something. Championship East, OKR versus York Knights. That could be a tasty one.
I was thinking that would be a very close one, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure about that one.
I think if I were going to predict, I'd go York.
You go York, yeah.
But that could be the match of the round, that one, I think, on Championship East side.
I personally think it'll be a close one between the both. You know, it's because obviously York, Kyle's left.
Is it all FC now?
All FC now, yeah. So obviously he was one of their main players, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah.
You know, so but I think it'll be closer between the two.
It should be a good match.
Yeah.
Championship West, Hereford Harriers versus Widnes Vikings.
I'm going to ask you on this one, actually.
I think Widnes. I think Widnes, really. I think it could be a good game, but first thought says Widnes, if you have to off the top of my head. Rochdale versus Warrington.
Would you say Rochdale?
I think I'd agree with Rochdale, yeah.
Yeah,
Rochdale. Regional South, Brentwood Eels versus Bedford Tigers. I think from recent results, I think Brentwood would probably take that one myself on my...
So I'm not much clued on Bedford Tigers, you know, on their recent scoreline. So
I think they might have missed a few games.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They have missed a few games coming up.
Sunday the 20th, Super League, Sheffield Eagles versus Leeds Rhinos.
I think it'll Leeds. I think from where they've been.
They've
off the go running. You know,
I'd have to agree. I think Leeds are. They're not written off this season.
Yeah, do you know Sheffield? You know they're an amazing team. You know, but they're still very new to the Super League. You know,
it's like a transition.
It's a transition period this year, and who's to say they come back next year and they're a totally, you know, and they could be a totally different team. You know,
it's a building year.
Yeah.
Bradford Bulls versus Batley Bulldogs.
I think it's going to be a hard one, is that one, because obviously it's my own personal team as well, so it's always going to be.
It's a Sunday.
Sunday.
So you'll be here for that one, will you?
No, I'm away for this one, unfortunately.
No, captain's missing.
You can't lose now for the
No,
prediction.
yeah, exactly.
You can make the
You
prediction.
know,
now,
so,
honestly.
but I suppose from as last game that we played, we was very much in hand up until half time, and then I think the
Match fitness at Bradford.
got us towards Bradford, because they are a very physical and fast team. And if they play the same way, then I wouldn't see why not that Bradford would do it again.
Right.
So.
I liked your answer for Wakefield Castleford one better, Jim.
Yeah.
He didn't back us, did he?
No.
Yeah, you got to back. Honestly, we could be playing France.
Yeah.
I'd still back us.
And then Championship West, Salford Red Devils versus North Wales Crusaders.
North Wales.
I've got to agree with that one. I've got to agree. Just going back really quickly then, we've only got a few minutes, but you mentioned the 6-year plan.
Yep.
Quickly, how does that look?
Well, spoiler alert, and I'm not promising this, but ultimately we all agree we want to win the grand final. I sort of came at the back end of the league thing, but I got an idea of how it's going to work, and we've got a plan of how the next 6 years are going to look. Development, growth, moving from championship. And I think it's very realistic. You've seen it, haven't you, Jimmy? I think it's a very realistic plan. Not looking at getting back-to-back promotions, not doing a Wrexham for certain. Looking at building the squad, building the culture, and then slowly reaping the rewards. But yeah, that is the ultimate goal of the team. We're not, to quote Conor McGregor, we're not here to take part. We want to be up there and take over. You know what I mean?
So when you say grand final, is that a championship grand final within the 6 years?
No.
Super League.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure that we're
Yeah. I know it's ambitious, and
I love this, Jimmy. This is good.
I don't see anything wrong with ambition.
Don't hold me to it. Like, it's just I've come and said that's my goal. You know what I mean? It's not an egotistical thing. It's not I'm going to do it. It's like 6 years our graph. I reckon we can get there. We might not. It might take us 7. It might take us 8. It might take us 9. We might never get there. You know what I mean? But that's
the plan.
You've got to be. You can't enter competition not wanting to win it, can you? That's. I've always said that. I mean, I remember when I was at Scotland. When Twig was my coach, was head coach, and me head coach, said I would say, "Oh, we're going to win the World Cup," and he was like, "Oh, yeah, what performances like?" So I said, "You're not on the same line." I went, "No. I'm voluntarily aware where we're going to get of how we're going to do in the World Cup. But if anyone asks me, I'm going to say it, because that's what sport's all about, isn't it?"
Yeah. That's why you're involved in it. That's exactly what sport's all about. You win some, you lose some, but everybody wants to be a winner.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Jimmy, it's been an absolute pleasure sat here talking to you. And like I say, we'll have to have you back again, because there's so much more we can touch on as well, for sure.
We didn't even talk about Louis.
We didn't talk about Louis. We'll have to do a special section on Louis.
We almost did. We started off and then we stopped, didn't we?
We'll check the story first, make sure it's PG rated.
It is, don't worry.
Right, guys,
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you for coming back any time.
No, absolutely. It would be great to get you back. Enjoy that, Tom.
Yep. I did. As always, we have some amazing guests on, and there's just so much that we can talk about and carry on, and we just don't have the time to do it.
We just don't have the time to do it. Back again in another 2 weeks' time. Shall we tell them what it is in 2 weeks' time? I think people have been asking when this person's on.
I think we can this time.
Shall we tell them who it is?
Let's get them excited this time.
So next 2 weeks' time after this podcast, we're going to be welcoming Jack Brown to the studio. Watch, he'll be sick now, so he won't get in for recording. We've gone and told everybody Jack Brown's coming in.
Got the ropes up now.
You have to watch and wait and see now whether he actually turns up.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. See you all soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.